Hello, dear friends. Welcome to this program, our Moments with God, where I share with you my simple and humble reflections on the daily Mass readings. And if there is a special saint, as today, I also like to share about their life a little bit with the purpose that this will help you and me in our spiritual journey, in our search for the divine, and in establishing our relationship with God and eventually even friendship with God. And if you are interested, you may please subscribe to this channel. And if you like the video, you may please also share it with others so that others also take advantage of it. Thank you. Today, 15th of July, is the feast of St Bonaventure. You probably heard this name as people who are baptized with the name of Bonaventure, but you may not know too much about. I'm presuming you may not know. Maybe some of you do, because Saint Bonaventure is a well-known saint, not just a well-known name, but a well-known saint. He was born in 1221 in Italy, about 40 miles north of Rome, and his father was a physician. So he came from a good family, an educated family, and it turned out that he himself was a very intelligent person. He was actually baptized as John. So Bonaventure is the name that he got as a Franciscan when he joined the Franciscan order. So there is an interesting story about why he joined the Franciscan order. See, he was born in 1221, and Francis of Assisi died in 1226, when Bonaventure was just 5 years old. But when he was 11 years old, John, he became very sick actually, and the parents didn't have much hope that he would survive. So his mother, who was a very devout woman, prayed to Saint Francis of Assisi, who was just about dead for about 6 years. But his name and his fame was becoming so popular and saintly that the mother of John, that is Bonaventure, trusted that she should pray to Saint Francis of Assisi, and miraculously John was cured. Later, John, because he was very intelligent, his father decided to send him to Paris to study. Those days, this is we are talking about 13th century. Paris was still not easy to get to from Rome because there were no trains and no buses. So how he reached there, of course, must have been ways of reaching there. And he started studying in Paris, and soon in the university, people noticed his brilliant, intelligent mind, and everybody noticed how clever he was. Bonaventure, besides being very intelligent and clever, was a very humble student. Show off and being very popular or being in public places was not his cup of tea. He liked to study, bury himself in books, do a lot of research, and his particular interest was in spirituality. Then, of course, when he was studying, he also came to know the Franciscan order. Franciscan order was growing very, very fast by that time. And so he joined the Franciscan order. And soon in the Franciscan order also he came up very fast. Of course, because he did very well in his studies, he was already appointed as a professor in the university, but then later he was elected as the superior general of the Franciscan order, and later became a cardinal. He wrote a lot of things on spirituality, etc. So Bonaventure is an important saint. And today, in the first reading, we find very interesting how through the book of Isaiah, God is telling the people that he is not at all interested in the type of offerings that people bring to him, of the goats and and cows and animal sacrifices. He's fed up with them, and he's fed up with all their festivals, and he's fed up. God is quite upset because people do not take care of the poor. Then God says, though you pray the more, I will not listen to you. And why he is upset with them? Your hands are full of blood. Wash yourselves clean. Put away your misdeeds from before my eyes. Cease doing evil, learn to do good. Make justice your aim. Redress the wronged. Hear the orphan's plea. Defend the widow. You see, justice and righteousness and being good to the poor and the widow is important for God already in the Old Testament. And this is what we find also Jesus saying in the gospel: do not think that I have come to bring peace upon the earth. I have come to bring not peace, but the sword. For I have come to set a man against his father, a daughter against her mother, and a daughter in law against her mother in law, and one's enemies will be those of his household. Sometimes this gospel sounds a bit strong, and one wonders why Jesus is bringing about enmity rather than love and forgiveness and togetherness in the family. So it may sound like that, but what it is what we hear in the first reading. When you are not for justice, even if your household people turn against you, you have to stand for justice, to do good to the poor. And I know many people, when one of the children, for example, wants to do something good, the parents or the siblings are worried about their own security, their own safety, their own savings, financial savings, etc. Like also in the case of Francis of Assisi. Francis of Assisi was so touched by the poor, he gave everything that he had earned from his father to the poor. His father was so angry with him. You see how father turned against the son. This is a very good example of how father and son became actually enemies. The Francis of Assisi finally gave up everything in front of the bishop. He even removed the clothes he was wearing, became completely naked, and gave even the clothes back to his father. This belongs to you. I don't want to have anything with you. So it can turn when we stand for Jesus, when we stand for the values of Jesus. It may happen that our family members may not support us. It is not always the case that they don't. Sometimes it happens, I hear, even when students want to join seminary, or sisters want to join, girls want to join convent. Parents don't like or don't encourage, particularly now that there are smaller families. Parents want their son or daughter to grow up and to look after them in their old age. No confidence and trust in God's providence. As we heard yesterday in the Gospel of Sunday, Jesus said, take nothing with you accept what is required. That was the trust that the disciples were supposed to have in Jesus. And I think this trust many parents and elders have lost in God, and they think that their children will take care of them. And we also know that many children then totally turn against their parents and even drive them out of their homes. So we have a lot to learn from St Bonaventure, Francis of Assisi, from Isaiah, and from the Gospel today. And if you would like to subscribe to this channel, you may do it now. I wish you all the very best. Thank you.